Go, I believe. Good morning, everyone. Liz R here with Comeback Yoga. Um, if you join me every Friday, I was out last week, but I am back this week. I had a lovely little vacation, and a little byproduct of that vacation is coming back with a bit of a sinus infection. This happens sometimes when I go down to sea level and then come back up to altitude. I was swimming at sea level, and I think that stuff got in my ears and gunked around in my head a little too much. I'll be working with the sinus infection here this morning, but I feel pretty good. I sound a little stuffy, so I apologize for the stuffiness and the tone of my voice. I may need to project a little, and if you're here with me live and I am fading in and out with my voice, just let me know, or like you can't understand me. Also today, will be a little extra gentle as when I position my head currently below my waist and then bring it back up because of the sinus stuff I have going on. It's a little uncomfortable. So there won't be as much of that today, but the great thing is it's June. So here we are into June. First Friday in June here, and I've come up with a special new-ish routine for us to practice this morning. Um, if you've practiced with me before, most of the stuff that we do at the beginning of the routine will stay about the same. It's from the standing portion onward that's going to change a little bit. And at the end of this class, I'm actually going to do a shortened meditation today, just because my speaking voice is not what it normally is, and that I have a lot of breathing I've got to do. That's the other thing I was going to mention. I will be breathing through my mouth today. I don't have a lot of capacity to breathe through my nose, but I am going to be taking the deep breaths through my mouth. Feel free to breathe whatever way works for you this morning. And new business also, new tapestry in the background. Let me know what you think of it. So it's just kind of lightened up for the summertime here. Feels a little cooler in the room. So yeah, excited to practice with you this morning. We'll get started right at the top of the hour. Again, my name is Liz R. Welcome to Comeback Yoga. Comeback Yoga is a 501c3 not for profit that brings yoga to veterans where they are. And I'm based here in Colorado Springs this morning, but I'm meeting you virtually wherever you are in your space. If you're joining me this morning, I'm so grateful that you're here. If you're joining me on a stream, if you're streaming this after the live stream, thank you for joining in. I'm grateful that you're here too. We will be practicing a very gentle yoga this morning. We're going to start in a seated position. We're going to move our way into hands and knees, and then we're going to move our way into a standing position and do a little bit of balancing while we're in standing. And then we'll move back down to the ground and onto our fronts and backs and just stretching our whole body along the ground until we're in our final resting pose. Again, my normal practice on Friday mornings, I normally do about a 10, maybe even 15-minute meditation at the end. That is going to be shortened this morning because of my little infection here, but again, will always be offered at the end of practice as a little bit of a meditation. You don't need necessarily any tools for this. If you've got a yoga mat, great. If you've got a block, great. If you've got something that's relatively the same size as a block, say a water bottle, you can see about those are the same height. Or you could always use a chair for support or the wall. I'm going to talk a little bit about that today in our balancing positions. Also, I'm going to orient you to my space, and I'm going to have you orient yourself to your space. So this morning, like I said, I've got a little bit of a head infection, so I'm working with that. I apologize for the sound of my voice. It's just, it is what it is. I'm working with it. I do feel a little better this morning. That's why I came on to do the yoga. So I'm glad I don't have to do this in person though, because I will be like coughing, potentially sneezing, that kind of stuff. When you do yoga, it tends to stir up and create, new ways of working through your immune system and whatnot. So just be prepared for that. Um, I have a notebook over here and a timer, so if you see me looking over here, that's why. This morning I have shifted up our yoga flow a little bit this morning for June. So I'm introducing some new things here in June that we will be doing just a little bit different than if you've done yoga with me in the past. I also have a timer over here, my coffee and my water over here. There's going to be a lot of water breaks for me today because again, I can't really breathe through my nose, so my mouth is going to get very dry as I talk and breathe through it. And that's okay. We're setting ourselves up for success by keeping these items right here nice and close. Go ahead and orient yourself to your space. If you've got a blanket for sitting on or a pillow, probably grab that now. Make sure you've got plenty of water. I've got the door closed here, though I do have a window open behind my device here. So if you hear birds chirping or dogs barking or people hollering or lawnmowers going, that's probably outside in my in my space here. We don't use music in the background for our yoga presentations on YouTube because YouTube monetizes that music no matter what it is. And we want to make sure that this is free and available to everyone, that we can reach everywhere. So I encourage you, if you'd like to use music in the background for you, you can click open another tab on your computer or tell Alexa to play meditative music. She does a pretty good job selecting some tunes in there. Um, I will tell you that in my experience with Alexa playing meditative music, she'll sometimes drop into hymns, church hymns. So if that's not something that appeals to you, or if it's something that does, just be aware of that. Comeback yoga. I didn't say this at the top, but comeback yoga is a trauma informed yoga. So we try to use language that's very inclusive, and we try to make this positively impactful for you in your body. So your yoga is going to look very different than my yoga. My yoga looks very different than somebody else's yoga, and that is okay. All yoga is good. So as long as you're here and practicing, that's really the important part. And again, like if you just decide that you're going to sit on your mat and breathe today with us, that's great. No one can see what you're doing in your yoga practice, so I encourage you to practice along in any way that feels great in your body. I will show you plenty of modifications for the poses that we go into today. And primarily, the first half of our class can be done sitting in a chair. So just keep that in mind. If you're uncomfortable on the floor, you can sit on a cushion or a lot of pillows or even on a chair to start off our class this morning. Also, if you are sitting on the floor, you do not have to sit cross-legged like I am. If you want to stretch your feet out in front of you or go for a wide-legged seat, if that feels better for you and your body, great. Again, use your pillows or blankets for support. And yeah, make sure you have some nice water ready to go. Sometimes when you're breathing a lot, you can get very dry. So just be aware of that. And if you pop in, great, pop in. If you're popping in live, that's fine. Nobody can see you pop in. Go ahead and pop in, throw down and start practicing with us wherever we are. Again, we're going to start off on the floor this morning, and then we're going to transition into some tabletop positions, hands and knees, and then we'll transition into standing positions, and then we'll bring it back down. Oh, we'll do some balance, and then we'll bring it back down to the mat, and we'll have a shortened meditation at the end of class today. I encourage you to share this yoga with everyone in your family. If you're a veteran, wonderful. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for practicing yoga with me. This is just one of the tools that can be used in your toolbox as a veteran or anybody else, really. Yoga helps you get better at living life. Yoga is not necessarily helping you get better at yoga, but it's the art of taking an hour for yourself out of the week to really just focus on your self-care and your self-upkeep. And yeah, focus on yourself. So I encourage you for the next hour to just kind of hang out here with us. We'll move our bodies in different ways together and see what we come up with. And we'll start right at the top of the hour. It sounds like my neighbor just let his dog out, so he's a little barky right now. His name's Thor. It's a very nice dog, but he likes to bark at the other dogs who walk down the road. So I'm going to get up and close that window before we start. so he's not too perky. Wonderful. That should work. Great. And I'd just like to share with you this morning that, again, I'm dealing with a little bit of a sinus infection as we go into the top of the hour. We're going to kick this off. So I apologize if I'm a little more quiet than normal. I'm having a little bit of a problem hearing myself. So let me know in the comments if I'm too loud or too soft. Feel free to live comment along with us. If you're watching the stream after, yeah, feel free to drop some feedback. I may or may not be able to review it, but yeah, it's there for me to consider when I get a chance to. Again, happy June, everyone. Welcome to Come Back Yoga. My name is Liz R. And during the week, when I'm not practicing yoga, I'm a technical writer who sits a lot. So I encourage lots of neck and shoulder rolls to begin with. And so we'll kind of start there. And again, like I said earlier, we're going to move from kind of the seated position into a tabletop position. Then we're going to move into a standing position with some balance, and then back down to the floor for the end of class. So we'll go ahead and get started. It is 8 o'clock. I'm going to start my timer here. Whatever that is, I should have pulled it up first, right, folks? There it is. All right, great. Well, thank you everybody for joining this morning. And yeah, so if you've got your space oriented and your music set up, we are good to go. Water, if you want a block or a water bottle to kind of use for balance, great. Keep it by your side here. Again, you don't have to sit in this cross-legged position. You can put your legs in whatever way feels most comfortable for you to sit on the ground, or you can take a chair for the beginning half of this yoga class. I will be pausing to drink more water than normal during this class because I've just got a really dry mouth this morning from this cold. So we're going to start with some neck rolls this morning. So as we move our head into each of these positions, I want you to go ahead and take one breath in each position. So we'll just grow really tall through the crown of our heads, extending through our midline and our torso, our body. Drop your shoulders down and away from your ears, maybe even bring your fingers to touch the ground below you. Make sure you're kind of holding a comfortable position. We'll be here for a moment, for many moments, so just be sure you're comfortable. So we're going to take a deep inhale here, and as we exhale, we'll just drop our chin down to our chest, dropping our shoulders down our back. Let's just take a breath here. Now tilt your head to the left or right, bring your ear towards your shoulder. Again, stretching your shoulder down towards the mat and your ear towards your shoulder. So you're getting a nice long stretch in the side of your neck. One breath here. And let's tilt our head back and our chin up toward the ceiling. Again, staying lifted through your upper torso. This is going to be the hardest position for me to speak in this morning because of this cold. Big inhale here and an exhale. And switch positions here. Bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Again, shoulders dropping down your back, pushing down towards the ground as your body pushes up towards the ceiling. One breath here. And bring your chin back to your chest. We're going to take it the opposite direction now. So chin to your chest, a breath here. And a breath with your ear to your shoulder. Stay tall and even. Bring your chin up toward the ceiling. Breath here. Ear towards your other shoulder. Breath here. And chin back down towards your chest. Breath here. Now just breathe naturally as we bring our head into a neutral position again. We're going to do what I call a big yes. Big, slow yes. So just nodding. Big movements, but they're really slow and focused. And then a big no. So you're just looking from shoulder to shoulder. Big no on that. Nobody's going to interfere with my goals and my plans today. No way. No how. Nope. Yes. I'm going to do everything that feels good in my body today. Just yes it out. Think of all the things you're going to say yes to today. Think of all the boundaries you're going to set and say no to. Shake your head in a big no. Great job. Let's bring it back to neutral. We're going to bring our shoulders up to our ears, just scrunch up and straight down. Drop down. Inhale, shoulders up to your ears, drop straight down. Great job. One more time. Inhale, your shoulders up to your ears, up, up, up. Big inhale, exhale straight down. Now this time, we're going to bring our shoulders, pinch your shoulders, shoulder blades into your back like you're grabbing a pencil or a pen between your shoulder blades. Roll them up to your ears, drop them down your front. Let's do that 3 times with our breath. So inhale, pinch your shoulders back and roll them up to your ears. On your exhale, you'll drop your shoulders down your front. One more time, pinch your shoulders behind you with your inhale, up to your ears, exhale down the front. Let's take that the other direction. So inhale your shoulders up to your ears in the front, exhale your shoulders down your back. So now we're just bringing our shoulders to like almost like trying to make our chin. Inhale up to your ears, exhale down your back. Great job. One more time. Inhale your shoulders in, up to your ears, down your back. Wonderful job, everybody. So like I said, this is kind of a new-ish routine. So I'm going to be checking on my notes over here a lot. So I apologize for this, the looking at the floor over here, but I'm just checking my notes. Inhale, let's slowly bring our arms up into the air. Exhale, bring them back down to the ground. Inhale your arms up into the air. Exhale, bring them back down to the ground. Fingertips brush the ground lightly as we turn around and inhale. Palms up and then towards each other, dropping those shoulders down. Exhale, hands down by your side. Let's do that again. Inhale, arms up into the air. Exhale, hands down by your side. This time when we inhale our hands up into the air, we're going to take our left wrist in our right hand, or right wrist in our left hand, whatever feels better to you, your body to start off with. Let's take a big inhale here, stretch up. Exhale, we're just tilting over to the side. We're grounding down through that opposite hip so that our hips are staying on the floor. And we're just tilting, maybe looking up towards our elbow, extending our chin. We're keeping our body in line so that our hips are over our shoulders. Inhale, bring it back to that neutral reach toward the sky. Switch hands, taking your right wrist in your left hand. And now we're tilting on our exhale toward the left. Bring your elbow up toward the sky. Look up towards your elbow. Stay long, stay lengthened in your upper body. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale, cactus or goalpost your arms. So your elbows are at a 90-degree angle, or I'm sorry, your elbows are straight out from your shoulders, right? And your hands, palms, are at a 90-degree angle from your elbows. Make a nice little goalpost. And just breathe here. Inhale your hands back up into the sky. Exhale, bring them back down to the mat. Let's inhale them one more time. Up to the sky. Exhale back down to the mat. Inhale one more time up to the sky. And when we exhale this time, we're going to bring them both arms out to a T. And just hold them here for a moment on the breath. And let's do some arm circles. First, we'll take them forward, about the size of dinner plates, making a circle about the size of dinner plates with your hands, or you're pointing your finger, and do it that way. Make sure your shoulders are nice and dropped away from your ear, relax down your back. And the slower you do them, honestly, the harder it is. So if you're doing them real fast, it's a little easier sometimes, but if you do them really slow, it really focuses on each tendon and muscle, giving yourself a good stretch, building some muscle here. Let's reverse direction and keep breathing. Keep staying tall through your upper body. Core engaged. And we're going backward. Take some big breaths here. Ooh, you can really start to feel that. Let's drop our arms down by our sides. Shake it out. Shake out your arms. Next, we're gonna do some upper body twists. So we're gonna inhale our arms up into the air and then we're gonna twist and look behind us. So if you need to, fidget around with your seating position. If you need to switch your legs, you can do that too. So let's take a nice big inhale here. And as we exhale, let's twist and look behind us. Just a gentle twist in our upper body. We're keeping our hips facing forward, but we're looking back behind us, staying tall through the crown of our head. Don't collapse in. Take another breath here. And on your next inhale, bring your arms back up, then twist, exhale, back to center. Inhale while you're at center. Exhale, twist again to the opposite direction. And you can use the wall or your knee here as a little bit of a push if that feels good to you in your body. Again, staying tall through your upper body. Staying engaged at the core. Sometimes it feels good to release a little on the inhale and then twist a little deeper on the exhale. That feels good for you. On your next inhale, lift your arms back up into the air. And as you exhale, twist and bring your arms down by your side. Twist back to center and bring your arms down by your side. Wonderful job. Let's bring our toes out in front of us. Oh, I am a little stiff this morning. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to remove my blanket. You can keep your blanket there if you want to. And we're going to do a little pointing and flexing of our toes this morning. So this is the flex position, when your toes are kind of all the way up, like this, and flexed out. And the pointed position is when you're literally pointing your toes out. So some people have a lot of flexibility in their feet, and some people don't. What we're doing here is just working on that flexibility. So with an inhale, you'll flex your toes up. Exhale, point your toes out. Flex your toes up on your inhale. Point your toes out. Stay straight in your back. Stay lifted through your upper body. If you need to spread your legs out a little, that's good too. If you need to keep a little bend in your knees, that's good too. I have a lot of flexibility in my feet because I danced when I was a little kid and did a lot of ballet. So I think, I don't know that I have more than other people, but I am a little flexible in my feet. And I get a lot of stiffness in my feet because I've worked a lot of jobs that were on my feet for, 12, 15-hour shifts. And I do a lot of walking as exercise. So I like to keep my feet flexed, pointed, and nice and flexible with your breath. Don't forget. Okay, let's relax our body there. Shift a little more here. We're going to do some forward folds here, seated forward folds. So again, nice straight back, staying tall through your back. Inhale your arms up into the air, and as you exhale, you're just going to bring your hands forward. Start to tilt forward with a very flat back, like you're trying to reach your chin out over your toes, not your fingers, but your chin. And as you inhale, maybe you release. And as you exhale, come a little further down toward your legs. Again, the object here is to keep a nice tall upper body, nice flat back, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe your hands are here. You can use your block here if you need to. Let's take another breath, release, back to neutral here, and then reach up again with your next inhale, exhale, reaching forward. Nice tall upper body, reaching out with your chin. Flex toes. And release. Let's roll over now from that seated forward fold into a tabletop position. So here at tabletop, we're going to build our foundation because we'll be here for a little bit now. So if you need a blanket to put underneath your knees, feel free to do that if that comforts your knees. And I take another big slurp of water here. So you can keep a blanket right there or a pillow, something like that, right underneath your knees if that helps support them. That helps support your yoga journey. Please feel free to do that. I'm not going to use a blanket this morning. So we're going to set ourselves up for a really good foundation here in tabletop. by placing the palms of our hands directly below our shoulders. See that? So we're at a 90-degree angle with our body. Okay? And then we're going to create a nice lean middle body, just like we were when we were sitting, right? Core is connected, belly button's toward the spine. Hips are aligned with the knee. Knee is square back to your feet, and you can keep your feet flat on the ground or have your toes curled under, whatever feels more comfortable for you. And really feel the earth support your palms underneath you and underneath your knees and your feet or your legs if you feel it there. Feel the earth push back on you. And feel yourself ground down through the earth and staying tall. Really just connect if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Just try to be in a tabletop position. That's all. All we're doing here is trying. So from here, we're going to do some cat-cow. So you're going to exhale. Inhale. Lower belly down. Look up toward the sky. Exhale, pushing up through your spine. Head comes down toward the ground. Inhale, you lower your body down and look up toward the ceiling. Lower your belly down toward the ground. Look up toward the ceiling. Exhale, rounding out through your spine, really pushing up through the palms of your hands. Looking back towards your knees. Inhale, one more time here. Exhale. And then take a couple on your own breath. So just cat-cow, rolling your spine. This helps loosen you up for some of the things we will be doing after this. Great job. For this next position, which is going to be bird dog, you may want to tuck your toes under to maintain balance. This is going to be a balance pose. So for bird dog, what we'll start with is reaching out with one arm, like you're going to shake somebody's hand, right? Reaching as far as you can in front of you. And then bringing your opposite leg back behind you. So this is bird dog right here. If you're feeling it this morning, you can use this balancing, you can use a block, you can use a balancing pose here. And hold yourself very tall in this pose. And just hold yourself here and return to the mat. So same thing here, reaching out with your opposite hand, dragging your foot back on the mat and just extending as far as you can between your hand and the heel of your foot. Think of that as one long line. I am kind of collapsing in here because I'm a little dizzy. I'm going to bring my foot up off the mat, try to show you a good balance here. Balance is extremely difficult when you've got a bit of a sinus infection, when you're a little overwhelmed by altitude. So working through it here this morning. It's a good way to show you how to work through it. So we're back to neutral tabletop. And let's do a thread the needle. So we're going to bring our left hand directly below our nose. On the mat, reach up with your right arm toward the ceiling and drop down so that your shoulder and maybe right ear are touching the mat. Threading your arm through the space between your other arm and your body. Great job. So you're stretching your shoulder here. Now, on your next inhale, you can raise back up. And of course, you can do this with a block underneath your shoulder if you want to bring the ground up to you a little further. So I will try that on this side. So I'm reaching up first. And then when I come down, I'm just going to rest my head on this block here. See how that feels as a stretch. I can rest my ear on it. I can bring it up further. And then I can move it and come all the way down to the ground too. See how that feels different from no block. Inhale, bring your arm back up. Exhale, come on back down to neutral tabletop. So typically at this point, I would lead you through a downward facing dog. This morning, that doesn't feel like it's going to be very nice in my head. So we're going to try something a little different. So from your neutral tabletop, we're going to move into a forward fold position, but we're going to do it without going through downward facing dog. So here's what we're going to do. If you can, bring one foot up. So now you've got one knee on the ground, one foot here, right? If you can, using your hands and feet here as a tripod. We're going to slide that other foot up and underneath us. So we're nice bent knee here, heads toward the ground. And now we're in our forward fold. Look at that. And you can just you can keep your knees bent here, or you can extend them out a little bit, extend them up a little bit. Bring the crown of your head toward the floor, okay? Let's heel toe out a little, all right? And we'll stay in this bent position, but now we're gonna bend our knees. And we'll sway a little from side to side, just a little bit. I'll lift my head up just a little bit here. Let's heel toe our feet back together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. All the way. So crown of the head goes toward the floor here. Inhale, slowly roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Really engage your core here to help lift you up to standing. Wonderful. And we're all in standing together. Get a drink of water, adjust as needed. I hope that I have a voice all the way through this. Great. Great job, everyone. So we're going to talk a little bit about intentional standing, i.e. mountain pose this morning. And I talk about this, I cover this a little bit in some of my previous classes, but let's talk about it again. So mountain pose, which is either this or this, hands in the air, palms face backward here. I don't know if you can actually see my palms. But intentional standing is the art of standing intentionally. It's also known as mountain pose in yoga. And you can do it with your feet separated. You can do it with your feet together. It depends on where you're most comfortable. But the most important thing here is really creating intention and feeling the ground pushing back up into your feet and then aligning everything around that so that you are like a mountain, right? And this can also be mountain pose with the hands together here, what we call hands at heart center. And you can kind of see where like this resembles the mountains in the tapestry behind me, right? This shape. So yoga is a lot about shapes too, and the shape you're putting your body into. Some of us have more sense of body than others. Again, as a dancer, as a kid, I think that gave me a lot of sense of body, like where my body is in space. And I've definitely worked with people who don't have that same sense. So if you find yourself lacking in a little bit of sense of body, this position is really helpful. The standing position is really helpful to really kind of re-gear that, retool it. It's a tool or a resource to kind of find your body positioning. So you know how standing feels because you do this every day, right? So what does it feel like then to bring your palms together or really feel where your feet meet the floor? Intentional standing or mountain pose is all about generating the energy of standing. So let's do that together. So first, and my mat is really loud this morning. First, let's have our feet, maybe lift your toes up off the mat, spread them out, and then drop them down the mat, maybe even or ground, and then grip in, maybe grip into the ground with your toes. Now, really feel that as the support for the rest of your body. So build your mountain from the ground up. Knees are over ankles, hips are over knees. And for me, I've got a kind of reminder to tuck my bottom side in and under because my natural way of standing is kind of with my butt out. So I tuck in. So that's just one of those things for me personally. Maybe it's for you. Maybe you're the opposite way. Maybe you tuck under too much and you got to bring your hips out a little bit. But just, try to feel where your hips are in this position and whether or not they're underneath your shoulders. So shoulders right over hips, hips directly over knees, knees directly over ankles, growing very tall through our upper body and through the crown of our head like there's a string pulling up, like a marionette. Inhale your arms up into the air, exhale them down by your sides. Woo, I'm going to move over a little before I hit that picture. Inhale your arms up into the air. Woo, there's that block. Exhale them down by your side. Inhale your arms up into the air again. Exhale down by the side. And we're going to do the same thing we did in that seated position with the side stretch, but we're going to do it standing. So we're going to inhale our arms up, taking our left wrist in our right hand. See that? Stretching that up, and then we're going to just tilt slightly to our right side, looking up towards the inside of our elbow and the ceiling, keeping your arms and shoulders still in line with your hips. And breathe here. Inhale, bring it back to center. Switch hands, exhale. Bring it over to the other side. Nice tilt, grounding down through your hip there. And just after 15 minutes of practicing, I got to tell you guys, bring it back to center, that I feel better in my head. Exhale your arms to cactus arms. There's something about yoga that really is just clarifying. Breathe here. I can actually breathe in through my nose right now. And when you take those nice big breaths, inhale back, arms back up to the air, exhale, hands to heart center for mountain pose. When you take those nice big breaths, make sure you're giving yourself a big deep breath all the way to the bottom of your lungs, and then you're exhaling all of that air back out. So your inhales and exhales should remain relatively the same length. Great job. Let's go ahead and shake that out a little bit. Side stretching. Okay, so we're going to move into some new balancing poses. So we had been working on tree and like warrior 3 and airplane. Today we're going to just do a one-footed mountain pose, single-footed mountain pose. And then we're going to do warrior 3, but we're going to use support with warrior 3 today. And we'll work on these over the month of June. And we'll kind of take them into new positions as well as we progress. So today we'll ground down through our feet. Maybe hands to heart center. Maybe you have your hands out by your side. Maybe you have your hands out here. Whatever feels very comfortable for you. So I'm going to bring my hands to heart center. Feel the earth support you underneath your feet, and then start to drift your weight into one foot or the other. Bring your weightless foot up off the mat. Flex your foot. Bring your leg at a 90-degree angle from your hip. Knees at a 90-degree angle from to your ankle. I'm losing my balance this morning. Sorry, folks. And just breathe here. One foot up off the ground, flexed foot. And just hold and breathe. And on your next inhale, exhale, let's let that all go. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see how I'm doing this in the side this time. So I'm creating that nice tall mountain pose, rolling my hips underneath me. Okay. Growing tall through the crown of my head. And then I slowly start to shift my weight into my right foot this time. And slowly pick my left foot up off the ground. Now my knee is at a 90-degree angle to my ankle and to my hip. So I'm just lifted here up off the ground, staying tall, staying engaged, staying balanced, and releasing back down. Great job, everyone. Sorry, my phone is ringing. I'll have to get back to whoever that is. We're going to move into Warrior 3. So I'm going to show you a couple of variations on this today. So if you've got a chair or a block, I'm going to start with the high variation, then we'll move down to the lower variation of this. So Warrior 3 is the pose where you start mountain pose again. Right? Let's start with hands at heart center. And for Warrior 3, right? So grow nice and tall. And this is the moment you kind of come back, flex your foot behind you. But I want you to do this using a prop. So I'm going to use the wall here to balance off of, just the corner. I'm using the corner of my closet here. So as I kind of bring my foot up behind me, I can stay lifted from my upper body. Flexed foot. Now we want to create a nice long line between, drop our hips down, create a nice long line between the crown of our head and the ball of our foot or the heel of our foot. You can keep a nice micro bend right here in the knee. If you've got a chair, you can do it. Just pretend this piece of luggage here is the back of a chair. You can use the back of a chair to kind of work that same area. Ultimately, we're working out both thighs and our balance. Warrior 3 can also be block. So just straight out. The important thing here is to maintain your balance, that nice straight lifted feeling. There. Exhale, come back down to the mat. Let's switch sides. So start again in mountain pose, creating that nice foundation for yourself here. And slide your foot back behind you. And then just start to lift up. And again, use the wall for balance. As you come and position yourself, maybe you need a little micro bend in that knee, in that balancing knee, flat foot, flexed foot. Nice long body. Here, great job, everyone. Bring it back down. Wonderful. We're gonna move into a wide-legged forward fold here. So typically when we do forward folds, we do it with our legs together. We're gonna do this one with our legs apart. Bring our hands to our hips. Again, creating that nice tall body like we had in mountain pose. Take a big inhale here, and you're just going to tilt at your hips very slowly. First to halfway. Okay, flat back halfway. If you need to heel toe your feet out, you can. And then we'll exhale and come all the way down to the mat. So now we're in a wide-legged forward fold here. And if it feels good for you, take your opposite hand and put it on the opposite elbow. Bring a bend into your knee, maybe create some kinetic motion. Rolling your body back and forth like a wave over your feet with your breath. There you go. Return yourself to neutral. Bring your hands to the mat here in a neutral forward fold. We're going to now heel toe our feet back together here. Okay. Then we'll take it to a halfway lift. Nice flat back here. Turn sideways. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. And we're going to go halfway lift one more time. And from this halfway lift, we're going to take it into a plank pose. We're coming back down to the mat now. Just plank it out here as much as you can. For me, this is very tough today. Or you can just bring it to a tabletop position. And we're coming back down onto the mat for some, bummer. I'm sorry, we're going to go back up into standing. Okay, so again, we're doing that forward fold half. So we're in a forward fold. Bring yourself into a forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. And we're going to roll up into mountain this time again. One more time in mountain. Hands to heart center. We're going to step back with our right foot. And we're going to bring ourselves into a high lunge. So my front knee. Again, 90 degrees, nothing, my knees staying behind my toes. My back foot is aligned with my front foot, but I'm up on my toes here, and I'm just in a nice tall lunge pose. Inhale here, and on your exhale, we're gonna turn and open up. So we will take our back foot and make it parallel to the back edge of the mat. Tee our arms out, pointing our fingers straight. Our front leg is still in that 90-degree pose. This is Warrior 2. And just breathe here. On our next inhale, we will shift back onto the tips of our toes here into a high lunge position. Take a breath here. And our next inhale here. Exhale, step forward. Inhale. Exhale, let's take it down into chair pose. So we're acting like we're about to sit in a chair. Inhale, standing up straight into into mountain pose. Exhale here. Another inhale, and on your exhale, step back into high plank, into not high plank. I don't know. I'm losing my words. Yeah, this one. Step back into this position. I'll think of it here in a second. High lunge. Thank you. High lunge. Step back into high lunge. Right. Toes are on the ground. Heels lifted. Get a 90-degree up here. This is kind of a balancing pose. Stay nice and straight. Orient yourself, and as you inhale and exhale, open up into warrior two. I've done this backward. I probably should have switched sides on the mat, but you can see what I'm doing from my back now. So there's that. Your edge of your foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat, and you're lowering yourself kind of down. Nice 90-degree angle here. Keep your knee in back of your toes. Nice and tall through your upper body. Big inhale here, and on the exhale, shift back into high lunge. Adjust as needed. Find that nice, comfortable high lunge. And inhale here, exhale, step forward. Inhale here, exhale. Arms down by your side. My mat is starting to creep a little, so I gotta pull it back. Arms down by your side, so we're back in mountain pose again. Now we will take it down to plank. So inhale your arms up into the sky. Exhale, hands through heart center, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're gonna come into plank or tabletop position here. Okay, and just lower yourself back down onto the mat. Sorry I missed that little segment there. I wanted to introduce that. That's the newest part of my yoga flow here. So I really wanted to get that in this morning. Wonderful. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. So we're back down on the ground, and we're going to work on some positions on our stomach, and then we're going to roll over onto our back. And yeah, and then we'll finish class with a shortened meditation. All right, so let's bring ourselves onto our stomach for cobra pose. So we start cobra pose by just kind of relaxing onto the ground first. All right, find that support underneath you, the earth pressing back into your body and creating that lovely cradle of support. Take your toes and your heels and zip them together. Zip your legs together all the way up. Take a nice deep inhale here and a big exhale, just with your legs zipped together. See how that feels. Then bring your hands directly, palms of your hands onto the ground directly below your shoulders. And take a nice inhale here. And a big exhale. Move your chin so that it's touching the mat instead of your cheek. And on your next inhale, you're going to lift up with just your upper body. Push your shoulder blades down your back. Breathe here, pushing your feet and legs into the ground, allowing yourself to lift a little higher. And on your next inhale, exhale, let it all go back down to the ground. And relax here. Next, we're going to move into Sphinx pose. So much like Cobra, you're going to keep your legs together here behind you. But this time, you're going to take your elbows and put them directly below your shoulders. And kind of, how do I explain this? Kind of pull your elbows toward your rib cage and pull out with your chin. So your chin is reaching out and over your fingers. You can feel that very subtle stretch, maybe in your lower abdomen. Take a couple of big breaths here. Great job, everyone. And lower back down to the ground. And because it is the 17-year occurrence, we're going to do some locust pose. So if you need to, wiggle down, give yourself enough room to reach out the front of your body while you're laying on the ground. So we're going to extend our arms all the way out in front of us and bring our chin to the ground, feet to the ground. So first we're going to lift up with one arm. Now we're going to lift up the other arm. Now one leg. Now the other leg. Now let's do that opposite. So last leg you lifted up. And come on back to the first arm you lifted up. And now we're going to lift up all of the things. So your belly is going to be what's pressing against the ground and what you're resting on. So if you're pregnant, I wouldn't suggest this position. Okay. Inhale, and we're going to just lift up legs, feet, arms, everything up off the ground, belly down. Looking down toward the ground, extending through the crown of our heads, toward the front of the room, and exhale and let it all go down. Let's do that one more time. Big inhale, lifting up, extending out. Exhale all the way down. Great job. That's our little tribute to a locust. Let's flip our body over, and we're going to come into a bridge pose. If you want to use a block for supported bridge, great, grab it now. And then we'll flip over onto our backs. Flipping onto our backs. Let's bring your knees up into the air, balls of your feet on the mat, flat on the mat. And just bring your shoulder blades underneath you. Your feet should be positioned as far away from your butt as is comfortable for you. In this position, I've seen people try to get their feet, you can see I'm working them in really close to your body. For my body type, this doesn't work because the second I push up, now my knees are going out over my toes, which is not necessarily a great thing for your knees. It can do some harm. So I like to keep my feet a little further out, plus then I get a better push. I'm working the kind of muscles that I need to be in here. And so let's go ahead, get yourselves nice and set up. And you're going to push up through your hips, lifting your hips up into the air, grounding down through your shoulders and the balls of your feet. You can use a block under the very, very bottom of under your sacrum or under the very last vertebrae, kind of where your butt crack is, where it starts, to support you, but try not to rest on the block. So inhale, here laying on the ground, exhale, push your hips up toward the sky. You can slide that block underneath you. Some people like to move their hands underneath them, maybe grasp their hands beneath their sacrum. That's fine too. You can do that, or you can just stay here, nice and lifted. Maybe take the block out, stay lifted, and on your next exhale, lower back down to the ground. Great job, everyone. Bring the balls of your feet together. Drop your knees wide on the mat for reclined bound angle. So balls of your feet are pressed together. You just kind of wiggle yourself down so that your knees are open wide on the mat. In this position, you can kind of play around with how far your heels are from the bottom of your body. So if you bring them closer, you can see what that feels like. If you bring them further away, maybe you get a different stretch in a different part of your legs, your torso. Sorry about that. Wardrobe malfunction there. So continue to kind of play around with this and breathe here. Nice deep breaths. This is a position that lets our nervous system know we're kind of going to a relaxation mode. So this one is a good position to take if you're feeling nervous during the day. Sometimes taking this position and placing your hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach will help you reconnect with your breath and just give you a new perspective on things during the day. Reclined bound angle is just kind of that position. It's a very relaxing position. I take this a lot at night while I'm in bed. right before I go to sleep to just wind down and let my nervous system know that it's time to turn off for the evening. Great job. Take your hands to your outer thighs and let's close your legs like a good book that you just finished reading. So very gently. And then bring our knees into our chest. Give yourselves a nice big hug here. Maybe find some kinetic energy or motion as you roll back and forth on your back. Sometimes that feels really good. Big inhale here. And as you exhale, let's bring our feet up into the air like you're stomping on the ceiling. This is called legs up the wall. And there's different expressions of legs up the wall, different ways you can hold this position. So I want you to find a comfortable way because we're going to be here for about a minute. Okay. So your back should be nice and flat against the ground, feet up in the air. You can see I have my knees a little bit bent here. If it's more comfortable for you to be straight, great. If you really want to get up against a wall, you can do that too. Use that for balance. Some people use the block here in this position. All right. Just to give yourself a little support. This is a great position to recirculate a lot of your blood and your fluids in your body. For somebody who sits all day, like I do, I encourage everybody who sits all day to do this position at least once a day because it helps recirculate everything in your body. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I used to love to sit like this and watch TV upside down. I don't know why. I don't. I've tried it since to see if it is really that cool of a thing, and it's not. But for me back then, I guess it was a thing. So just kind of stay here and legs up the wall, take a lot of breaths. We'll be here for another moment or two. If you need to, feel free to bend your knees a little further, bring your legs at a 90-degree angle, but try to keep them up off the floor if at all possible. Great job, everyone. Okay, let's bring our legs back down to the floor. Let's give ourselves a big stretch like you're waking up in the morning. Oh, big, big, big stretch. And just relax for a moment on the floor here. Bring your knees in, big ball again, and then drop feet your feet back down to the floor with your knees bent. Take your right ankle and put it over your left knee. Flex your foot and just tilt your right knee kind of out at a 90-degree angle so you're making a nice little triangle in between your legs. This is called figure four. From here, you can lift up with your bottom foot and create a 90-degree angle there. See? Um, there's my knee is bent, right? And then from here, you can always reach through and start pulling your knee back down towards your bum. Reminder to keep your shoulders on your floor here. And you release this back down to the ground. Switch legs, placing your left ankle over your right knee. Again, big 90-degree angle here with a triangle in between. Reach through the gap with your hands. Clasp your hands below your knee or above your knee on the right thigh. Flex your foot, both feet. Really. And you're creating that 90-degree angle again with your left leg as well. Nice big stretch here. Great job, everyone. And you can go ahead and release this back down to the floor. Windshield wipe your knees from side to side, so just dropping your knees to either side of the mat together. These big kind of exaggerated movements. If you want to bring your arms out to the side, you can do that. Wonderful. Let's take ourselves into a big ball this time. Bring your head up. Big inhale here and a giant exhale as we relax into our final resting pose. As I said at the beginning of class, I have a short meditation for you today because my my voice is so off today. It's a little tough to do a meditation. So I want you to find yourself in the most comfortable position you can for your restful end of class uh, resting pose. I'm going to sit up so I can do a little bit of a meditation here for y'all. And I'm just checking my time and my timer. Oh, good. Got about 10 minutes left here at the end of class. I'm going to do about 5 minutes worth of meditation. And then we'll wake up from our resting pose and move into the end of class. So take a nice big drink of water. If you need a blanket or a pillow to support you in your resting pose, go ahead and get those things. If it's warm where you are and you want to turn on a fan, if it's cold where you are and you want to get a blanket, all of those things. You have a moment to do that. And then we'll go ahead and get started with our meditation and our final resting pose. So the first thing I'd like you to do in this meditative pose, if you feel comfortable, is close your eyes and know that you're safe in this space and in this time and at this moment. Bring an image into your head. It doesn't have to be a memory. It can be a sound. It can be anything you experience with your senses. It can be a taste, just something that really makes you feel good and loved and warm on the inside. So for me, I like to use a flower and a color. A picture my favorite flower on a colorful background, or a background of color that I like. And that changes for me. So it can change for you, and it can change for you within your meditation. But go ahead and call up something in your mind's eye with your eyes closed that you just adore. And let's just take some deep breaths here as we relax in and let that color or sound or taste or experience or memory envelop us. And feel the coolness on your skin of the air around you. And maybe you hear some sounds that are near, and you can just listen to them with no judgment and let it go. And maybe now you can hear some sounds that are further away. With no judgment, listen to those sounds and let them go. Keeping that sensation, experience, color in your mind's eye. Take a deep breath and breathe in all the goodness that comes, all the good feelings that come with that experience. And you're creating this experience and this meditation for yourself. Maybe you just feel all the points of your body as they touch the ground beneath you, and as the ground supports your body in its position, in its current position. And you take a deep breath. Relax and breathe here. Do the best you can to stay in the present, keeping your body relaxed in the experience, sound, taste, color, touch, smell that you've got in your mind's eye. Feel the support of the earth beneath you and breathe it in. Keep in mind that meditation is an experience you create for yourself. My voice simply guides you to the places you need to be. Deep breath here. Picture your body from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes, surrounded in a white light, almost like an aura. That white aura surrounds you with love and support and nurturing and refreshing breath and refreshing thoughts. Take a deep breath here. We do yoga to support the kind of changes that we encourage for positive influences and impacts in our life. The white light we surround ourselves with in our mind's eye help to encourage those positive thoughts and discourage negative thinking and negative impacts on our body. So the more we can surround ourselves with a beautiful white or light blue light, whatever that looks like for you, the more we're supporting ourselves in our own journeys. Take a deep breath here. You're here today. You showed up today because you want to experience this positivity that comes with a yoga practice. And I'm grateful that you're here to join us in that progression in your life. Take a deep breath here. And for a few minutes, I want you to sit silently, enveloping yourself in the aura that you've created for yourself in this space, in this time, in this moment, and just stay there. So for 1 minute, I'm going to give you absolute silence in order to envelop yourself in your own support, in your own love. If you feel your day calling to you, go ahead and start to introduce some small movements into your fingers, into your toes. Maybe keeping your eyes closed, start to introduce a little bit of larger movements, again into your hands and into your feet. And give yourself another big morning stretch so your arms are going way above your head and your toes are pointing out. You're just making yourself very long and connected with the ground beneath you. Deep breath here. Bring your arms back down by your side. And as we wake ourselves up from our resting pose here, let's bring ourselves onto one hip or the other. And you can bring your bicep underneath your head for a little support here. Take a nice deep breath. Let's go ahead and start to move back into a seated position. So we'll come upright. And if you haven't opened your eyes yet, you can still keep them closed. Maybe rub your hands together, create some of that warmth, then place them over your eyes as you gently open your eyes and drop your hands away. That's one way of doing it. If not, just gently kind of remain. Lift your eyes open. Maybe you're just looking through your eyelashes at first, down on the ground, and you can bring your focus and gaze back up. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining me here today at Yoga. Comeback Yoga is an incredible organization bringing yoga to veterans where they are. If you have a veteran in your family that is on the other side of the country, you can practice yoga with them through Comeback Yoga by sharing our links and our different videos on YouTube. You can share the gift of yoga with everyone in your family, and you can do group yogas together, even though you're separate. And as we come back into this world this morning and from the pandemic and everything else, as we kind of reemerge, just be kind to yourself and be kind to those around you. There's a lot of changes that are happening, a lot of differences than we're experiencing right now than we were a year ago or even a year before that. Um, People have changed. Situations like what we've gone through as humans change us. And that's okay. Um, Sometimes change is for the better. Sometimes change reveals the things that we didn't even know were there. So look for those new situations and opportunities. I encourage you to take everything that comes at you with kindness. and understand that people may be a little rough around the edges after reemerging. Cicadas, a little rough around the edges when they reemerge every 17 years, right? So kind of see this as a reemergence this June. So take the opportunity, kind of give yourself a chance to create something new for yourself or reemerge as a different person. I encourage you to find those types of opportunities in your life that come with practicing yoga and sharing yoga with the people around you. And at that note, we are on the top of the hour here. So let's take one nice deep breath together one more time. Inhale, arms up into the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. And with that, I bid you a very nice day. I hope you enjoy your Friday as much as I'm going to. The sun is out here, and I'm hoping to feel better by the end of the day. And by next week, hopefully, this little head cold situation will be cleared up, and I will sound a lot less stuffy. Um, Thank you for hanging in there with me today. I appreciate any of your comments you post. Please do go check out Comeback Yoga's social media. They have a website with all the schedules of live and in-person classes. They have all the schedules for the YouTube streaming classes on there too. They also have an Instagram and a Facebook, so please do go check that out and join me here every Friday, or stream me back anytime you can. Have a wonderful rest of your week and, well, your weekend. I hope you had a wonderful week and have a wonderful weekend and happy Friday to y'all. Bye.